I've travelled lots of places really, especially because while I was on my year abroad, before I started studying at the university, I was working on a campsite and I met my boyfriend there, who's half English, half Italian. So I didn't even come home for Christmas when I was in France because I was invited to Italy. Not that my Italian's a very high level, but his 4-year-old cousin, we were on par. And then I actually went to Morocco in the Easter holidays, which was very exciting with the French and seeing the differences of French outside of France. And I hope to travel lots more places and explore, and I really like talking to people, if I'm in their country, to talk to them in their language. And I think that when you do that, you actually get a lot more respect from them as well.
With my French, I've mainly just obviously used it in France, and I've travelled quite extensively in France since improving my French, and have enjoyed travelling more because it makes a huge difference when you can speak the language. You find that people are much more open to you, much more receptive, much more willing just to engage with you. But I hope in the future maybe to go to sort of other areas of the world. Maybe sort of Quebec in Canada is an area we're thinking about visiting, and again it would be lovely to use my French.
I've been to France. I've been to Paris when I was younger, so obviously that's before I started doing French at school. And so you get to learn the odd word, and then you feel really confident afterwards. You're like, I've learnt a different language. And then obviously I've been to the Canary Islands, and then obviously for the year abroad I went to Spain in Castilla-La Mancha. So that was really great because you submerge yourself in the language, you hear it, speak it, live it, breathe it. So it's fantastic, and you become Spanish, you become that culture. So it's been really great, definitely.
I spent 6 months in Mexico on my gap year before I started university, and I was working in a school for Down syndrome children and on a turtle conservation project. I lived with a family and travelled around, and then I've been to Spain most holidays. My dad's a language teacher, and then also my year abroad I was in Spain for a year in Granada down in the south, which was fantastic.
Across Europe, I've travelled a great deal in France and also in Switzerland and Belgium. And I found there that having languages and being able to speak the local language means I've got so much more out of those travels, connected with local people, been able to appreciate more the arts and particularly cinema in those countries.